The prison was built on a lonely island, guarded by sentries around the clock, with shark-infested water surrounding it on all sides. The island's boatmen had all been bribed by the warden, making escape almost impossible. Papillon once tried to break out, but he failed, and was thrown into solitary confinement for 2 years. When he first entered, faced with a freezing wooden plank for a bed and leftover scraps from the guards' meals, he sank into despair. For 728 days, he spent nearly every moment counting on his fingers, waiting for time to crawl by. One day, a guard delivered a bucket with half a coconut and a small slip of paper. The note said he would have to survive on just half a coconut a day from now on. It turned out that his friend Dega had secretly bribed a prisoner who delivered food. Seeing the note reignited Papillon's hope, and he began training his body, surviving on the coconuts that came each day. Before long, the guards discovered the coconuts, and the prisoner was beaten savagely. The warden then sent Papillon a bowl of meat soup, promising he could have it every day if he revealed who had been helping him. But Papillon refused to betray his friend and pretended not to understand. The warden flew into a rage, cut his rations, and boarded up his cell so he would spend the rest of his sentence in darkness. 2 years later, Papillon was dragged into the prison infirmary. When Dega saw him, he thought Papillon had been tortured into madness. Dega thanked Papillon for never betraying him and explained that he was now working as the warden's assistant. But the moment the nurse left, Papillon snapped back to normal. In truth, he had been faking insanity the entire time while secretly saving the sleeping pills the nurse had been feeding him. Papillon and Dega began planning their second escape. Dega analyzed the situation. This week, the warden would be entertaining guests with a movie night. This is a perfect time to steal the infirmary keys. They reached out to a prisoner named Maturette to help distract the guards, and bribed a sailor who knew how to navigate and handle a boat. That night, Dega spiked a bottle of wine with Papillon's stash of sleeping pills and handed it to the infirmary guard. It didn't take long before the guard collapsed. After taking care of the guard, they reached the final iron gate. Just then, a heavy storm broke out, forcing them to move quickly. The 4-man escape team rowed away from the island, disappearing into the rain. But by the next day, their boat began leaking and couldn't hold all 4 men. The burly sailor insisted that 2 men had to be sacrificed, or they would all drown. Naturally, the 2 weaker ones became the targets. Maturette fought back desperately, but he was thrown overboard. Papillon was furious and grappled with the sailor, while Dega made a decisive move, knocking the bearded man unconscious and tossing him into the sea. The storm raged on, and the small boat was nearly torn apart. When they woke up, the 3 survivors had washed ashore near a remote tribe. The locals, who had lived off fishing for generations, welcomed them warmly. For a brief moment, they thought they had finally escaped. Papillon prepared to part ways and say goodbye to his friends. But as he walked a short distance away, a military unit suddenly appeared.